Hi everyone. Today I just wanted to do an October TBR. So I've been in a horrible reading slump. I haven't really read anything since the spring. I did read Empire of Storms. That I kind of had to force myself to read, as painful as that sounds. I love the series. I love the author. I love the books. But I just haven't had, any motivation to read it, and I don't know why. I usually read, like, all throughout college. I would read at least one book a week. My roommate would even make fun of me. She would come back, she would leave first, and start a book at like noon, and she'd come back from work or classes around like 8 or 9, and I'd still be there just finishing a book. I love reading. I love binge reading, binging anything, TV shows, movies, anything like that. But I love reading, and it was such like a therapeutic thing for me, and an escape, and it wasn't as bad as other habits. That sounds bad. I mean that, like, it was I didn't feel guilty if I read a book instead of doing my homework. Yeah, that sounds better. So I'm really trying to get out of my reading slump by forcing myself to read a lot of books this month, especially because I have so many good books to read. It's not even like I have nothing to read. I have so many good books to read. So now we'll jump in. One of the first books that I got this a while ago, and I really want to finish reading it because I really love the first book, A Torch Against the Night by Sabaa Tahir. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right. Sorry about the light change. It's the sequel to An Ember in the Ashes, and I really liked An Ember in the Ashes. I actually didn't really know anything about it. My mom picked it up for me, and all she told me was that I liked the book, and I absolutely loved it. So I'm really excited to read this book. I just don't want to be in a bad place and read it and ruin it. But I'm really excited about it. It just looks so pretty too. That's better lighting. It looks so pretty too. So I'm really excited about that. Continuing series. Another book that I got a few days ago, which I also really want to read right now, is Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. It's a sequel to Six of Crows. Crows, pronounce that. Wow. And I'm really excited about this book. I really loved the first book. It was such a good story. I love the whole misfits kind of coming together and working together thing. I loved all the characters. They were all so flawed but brilliant, and it was great. So I'm really excited about this book, and it's just so pretty too. And this particular book actually also has the book cover is a poster of the characters, which is so cool. So hopefully I'll get into reading that this month. Next is Frost Like Night by Sarah Rosh. This is the third book in the Snow Like Ashes trilogy. I don't know if there's going to be more books. I haven't read this book yet. But this also is so pretty. All the books of this trilogy are so pretty. All the covers and the art and everything. And the books themselves are also amazing stories. Very, very, like, some parts of it, it's like one of those books where if you tried explaining it to someone that doesn't love books, they'd just be really confused and like, that sounds hokey or weird. But really good series, and I really am excited to read this. The next book is, because I also do want some kind of creepy books in, and I have a whole creepy section on one of my bookshelves. But actually I want to read the rest of the Miss Peregrine's Peculiar Children series. I read the first one and I really liked it, and it was really nice because I read it with my dad and we talked about it. But he finished reading the books and I didn't. I don't know why. So I have Library of Souls and Hollow City, and I want to try and read both of these books, especially because the movie came out and I don't want to see it if it has any alludes to these books. I heard that the movie was really good, but yeah, I really want to read these. It's just such a weird, like, concept, and just seems really cool. Continuing with the creepy, is The Dark Missions of Edgar Brim. This is by Shane Peacock, and apparently he's the author of award-winning Boy Sherlock Holmes series. This just seemed like a really, really cool book. I don't know what even caught my eye about. I mean, the front of it's beautiful. That was probably shiny things. But it just seemed really cool and very interesting, but also kind of creepy. So I'm really excited about that. I've also had this book for like over a month. So now I'm going to try and read it. And lastly, I talked about this in a previous video, but I've been in a reading slump, and other than forcing myself to read Empire of Storms, which I still love the book, I love the series, one of the only other books I was able to read during my reading slump is something by Christopher Moore. Christopher Moore is one of my favorite authors. His stuff is just, it's deep, it's lighthearted, like it's just such a well-rounded books, but it also has kind of like a crude humor, which I'd like to say I don't have the humor of an eighth grader, but I do. So I really like that, but they are also not like just crude humor. It makes you feel smart, I guess. That's not the best way to describe it. I really like his humor and his take on things, and I'll take serious things. Or he did a book off of the play of King Lear, and otherwise I would never really have wanted to read King Lear. Not that I have anything against it, it just never really was like something that I was like, yes, that's what I want to read. So, Fool, that's the book, and it was such a good book, and now it kind of makes me want to read King Lear, just so I have like the actual background of like what he did manipulate, what was true, what did he keep, and that sort of thing. Another book that he did that was also in my previous video was Lamb, this book. And I actually loved this book. It's The Gospel According to Biff, Christ's Childhood Pal. And it's so funny. It's such a funny book, and it's just like an interesting take on all these things I never really thought about. So I'm really excited to read this book, Bite Me, A Love Story by Christopher Moore. I think there's like 2 other books that are kind of love story, vampire things that he writes. I forgot what other. There's like a whole bunch of like weird books he has. All his books are weird, but I absolutely love them. So I'm really excited to read this. Maybe this will jumpstart and push me into reading everything else. Yeah, that's all I have for today. I hope everyone is well, has good reads, reads books that they love. Bye!